Welcome back to my channel. In this video, we will be demonstrating about the usage of Resinlay for making pattern for cast post in case of teeth which are badly debilitated after endodontic treatment. So specifically, we will be dealing with this case. In this case, we'll be looking up into a faulty bridge. A bridge was made almost maybe 4 to 5 years back, and the patient had complained of a dislodgement of the bridge while eating. So once we took out the bridge, we found out that the canine, the teeth in which we are going to do the post preparation and we are going to make the pattern, it was in a very bad shape. It was badly decayed. So we had to perform an endodontic treatment. And while we performed the endodontic treatment, what we found that almost the entire coronal portion of the tooth was gone. So what was the treatment plan? The treatment plan was to do the root canal treatment properly, number one. Number two, to go for the cast post, because we need to give a definite coronal structure to the tooth structure, and then finally we have to go in for the bridge, that is we have to refabricate the FPD. So now let me give you a brief idea about this case. First, we are going to remove this bridge. Already while doing the root canal treatment, we had to remove the bridge. It was luted with a temporary cement. While we remove the bridge, we have to do a little bit of gingivectomy. Now the gingivectomy won't be done with the scalpel method. It will be done with a thermocautery method. And once we are done with the gingivectomy, we are going to demonstrate how we are going to do the post space preparation using the Piezorimo, number one. Number two, the usage of Resinlay petternresin for making the entire pattern out of it. And once we have made the entire pattern properly, it will be sent to the lab for casting. And once the casting has been done, it will be sent back to us. We are going to cement it with the resin cement, and we are going to do the tooth preparation. So well, the tooth preparation is a totally different scenario altogether. In this segment of the video, we will be discussing only about the best method or the suitable method of making a pattern cast pattern directly inside the mouth, or in some cases it is being said as the chairside method of making the pattern for the cast post directly inside the mouth using TDV Resinlay pattern photo, directly marketed by Septodont India. So without wasting any more time, since we have to go ahead with a lot of things, so we're directly switching over to the video. So let's move on. So this is the entire bridge we are looking forward, and we are going to take out this bridge. It is luted with a fast setting zinc oxide eugenol base, because once we take this out, you will be able to understand that nothing was present inside. Of this bridge, once we remove it, will be visible. It's quite difficult. It's strongly luted. Now this is the actual condition. So we can see that this is the amount of tooth structure which is left behind. There is an overlapping of the gums here on the distal aspect, on the buccal aspect, and a little bit on the mesial aspect. Now in situation like these, if you are directly making the pattern, we are not getting the definite amount of tooth structure on these places. So while the post comes out from after a casting process, there will be a definite amount of gap which will be present. Hence, again the chances of micro leakage will be very high. So what we are supposed to do is, we are supposed to remove this a little bit of these this gum structure, and then begin the process of making the cast post preparation. So let's move on. So basically this is a kind of a gatapacha cutter. Usually that is what it is being marketed. What we are using in this case is, we know that it starts heating up. As you can see, the frames and the heating portion of the tip heating up, it's becoming red. So usually the company, be it any kind of company, they usually say that this has been used as a GP cutter. What we have done is, we are using this to do thermocauterization of the overhanging gums. So in the video, we will be showing you just now as to how the thermocauterization of the overhanging gums can be done. We call it as gingival trimming with the heat method. It's not exactly the things which are being seen in the literature. It's something which is arbitrary anecdote. It's something which I commonly use. So let's jump onto the video and see how we are doing it. So you can see we're cutting off, trimming off the overhanging gums. So we are trimming and we're trying to create some ferrule, but most importantly we are trying to remove the overhanging of the gums, which might interfere with the pattern making, and subsequently at the time of post cementation there might be certain gaps left, so there might be issues. Repeatedly I'm using the same things, I'm using the same words again and again, that there should not be any gap at the time of post cementation with the tooth structure. And definitely at the time of tooth preparation we have to modify our tooth preparation as well, so that's a different chapter altogether. So this becomes the first step, a little bit on the mesial side. Now what is the advantage? We are working in a blood-less field. There is no blood which can be seen. So it becomes less messy. People who have got lasers with them can work with the lasers. For us, this can be one of the methods. Very simple, very economical method can be used. So now overhanging is almost gone. Almost gone. That's it. Almost there. So we will be changing the tip and we're going. So we're just refining the thermocauterization process, and as you can see, any overhanging which can be there has been removed. So this is the final scenario after cauterization. You can see the coronal tooth structure is visible. We're just going to clear this a bit with some local anesthetic agent. Well, the local anesthetic gel which we are using is Lignosmano, again from Septodont India, which is one of my favorite apart from Progel B. So now you can see, if we are zooming in properly or we are focusing, we can see the remnant amount of tooth structure can be visible properly with no overhangings from the gum, no interference from the gums. So now we can move on with the post space preparation using the sequential Piezorimo sequences, and then we can directly fabricate the pattern for the post inside the mouth or chair side. So let's move. So this is the number one Piezorimo which we are using, and the length which is selected is 10.5 millimeters, as the total length of the root was 14.5 at the time of endodontic treatment. So minus 4 millimeters, we are keeping it at 10.5. So 10.5 means roughly the cutting blades of the Piezorimo. So we'll be going it inside, and while we're working inside, normal saline is being used as a coolant. Otherwise, what basically happens is the patient might complain of a burning sensation or a heat sensation which is generated due to the usage of the Piezorimo. So I can see the GP coming out, and we haven't gone more than the cutting blades of the Piezorimo. So this is the number one. This is number two. Just the cutting blades. We are flaring up the access at the coronal portion, making sure that there are no undercuts. We are trying to eradicate all the undercuts possible. This is the number 3, and we're putting it inside. just the cutting blades, nothing more than that. Making sure that no undercuts. Just try to follow the movement I'm doing inside the canal space. Uniform movements inside the canal space, making sure that there are no undercuts present. This is the last of the Piezorimas, number 4. Number 4 I'm using, since it's a canine, thick diameter tooth. Just the working blades are going inside. The cutting blades of the Piezorima, nothing more than that. Moving properly, making sure that there are no undercuts. That's it. To ensure that there are no debris inside, I am giving a final wash with normal saline, washing off anything and everything which might be present inside. I'll be using a paper point. Now this paper point will be used to dry anything inside. No water. Now, what are the misconceptions? The first thing, which we have already always come across, because there are many people who are asking us this question, that whether we are supposed to use any separating agent inside the teeth. Number one, no. The second question, why does the pattern break while we are taking it out? It breaks. The only reason for the breakage is that it definitely has to be some undercuts inside the preparation. Now, if somebody follows the ways of doing the Piezorimo, post-paste preparation inside the teeth, definitely there will be no undercuts, and you have to avoid undercuts inside the post preparation, because inside the post paste, if there is any kind of undercut present, then number one, the pattern will break. Even if you are not following the method of doing the chair side pattern making, you are trying to take an impression, the impression will break. Believe me, the light body will also break. It will stay inside the canal space, and rest of the impression will come out. So the most important thing is avoid getting any undercuts, and the only method is to do a very meticulous and proper sequential post space preparation, starting from number 1 Piezorimo to number 3 at least. Number 4, if and at all, whatever may be the diameter of the tooth. If you are using in case of a canine, you may go up to the 4. If you are using in case of a distal canal of lower 6, or the palatal canal of an upper 6, then you can restrict up to 3. But usually you have to go till 3. So this is the overall thing. So now we are going to do the actual process, that is chair side fabrication of the pattern for the cast post. So let's see. Is a very generous, I would say, I would be very thankful to 3 people. So now I'm very thankful to 3 people in my state, rather in Calcutta. The 2 people who are I'm very much thankful are Mr. Orho Kundu and Mr. Vikram Chatterjee. The reason being, they have really supported me for this specific video. They have really supported me with this generous pack of TDV Resinlay pattern photo, which I'll be using in this case. And special thanks, many thanks for getting it done, or rather I would say getting it approved within, I would say, maybe half an hour to 45 minutes. Mr. Vilas Shetty, country head of Septodont India. So with this, we are going to begin the fabrication of the pattern for cast post of maxillary canine of the right side. Now, let's see what exactly we find inside. So inside the pack, as I'm opening it, we have got, yeah, I'm sorry, one fell off, my mistake. We get 2 or 3 tips. These are the tips which we are using, and try to use the tips which have got a wider diameter. Because if you're using something which is very narrow, the dispensing of the product from the cannula will be very difficult. So try to use a cannula which has got a wider tip. So this is one thing, and the second is, this is the actual syringe. It's written Resinlay Petternfoto gel, light curing resin in gel for casting and carving patterns. So in this video, I will be discussing only about fabricating the pattern for the cast post. But there are many beautiful things which I've already done with this Resinlay pattern resin. I think this video would be very short if I start describing whatever things we have done. So let's limit ourselves only for the sole purpose of making or fabricating a pattern for the cast post of maxillary canine. So I'm removing the protective cover, putting on the cannula, making sure it's tightened. Otherwise, if it is loose while now, since we need to make sure that the space is totally dry, we are going to use paper point again. I can see it's totally dry inside, and I'm drying up the other parts as well. Now, the first step, putting the cannula directly inside the pore space preparation. Not make sure that this cannula is not entirely touching the end point of the preparation. It should be at least 0.5 millimeters above it. So I'm withdrawing a little bit, and I'm pushing, and as I'm pushing, I'm trying to withdraw. I'm withdrawn. And the first layer what I did is I applied thoroughly like this. Now curing will be done. The best part about this thing is that there is a color change. If it is properly cured, the green color will change to blue. So this is basically aquamarine green, and this will so the second incremental layer has been given. Now we are going to give the third and the final incremental layer. Let us shape it a little bit. That's it. Basic pore space preparation and everything is very simple. Just need to follow the proper steps. Once the steps have been properly followed, anybody and everybody can do it chairside. It's that simple. But important thing is to understand that you have to negate the presence of any undercuts, be it inside the pore space or be it inside the coronal space. I mean in the tooth structure. If there is presence of any undercuts, or if the pathway of insertion and pathway of removal are different, the chances of breakage are very high. So now, before we remove, what we are going to do is we are going to shape it a little bit. Shaping and giving it a shape of a canine is very important. So that is what we're trying to do right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to shape it up a little bit. As you can see, maybe shaping has to be done outside the mouth, but let's see what. So this is the pattern which we wanted to make. Shaping can be done inside the mouth as well. Shaping can be done outside the mouth. Everything is possible. But you can see the length of the entire post space has been recorded. Well, about the coronal portion, we need to do a lot of finishing in order to give it a miniature shape of a canine. So that can be done by the lab people or by me also in my spare time, because it's already at night time that we're recording this video. So maybe by tomorrow morning or afternoon we'll be sending it to the lab. So by that time we can do a finish up and we can send it to the lab. So this is all about as to how you are supposed to do or use the pattern resin photo TDB Resinlay for making or fabricating the patterns for cast post directly inside the mouth or chair side. So I hope this video will be informative to all the fellow dental surgeons and people who are watching this. In case of any queries, please definitely do comment in the comment box. And if you are at all new to this channel, please subscribe to this channel, because your subscriptions will help us grow and help me in making more informative videos in the future. So this is Dr. Bhunajyoti Vidya with my channel Bluetooth, and signing off for today. We'll meet you very soon with some more exciting and new informative videos in our coming time in my next sequential videos as well. So bidding you good night and have a great night as well as great day tomorrow. Thank you so much.